Hello, welcome to this video. I hope you are doing fine. So very quickly, I want to explain what bleed and no bleed means when it comes to Amazon KDP. All right. So if you have ever experienced this, whereby Amazon send you this kind of email that your file contain insufficient bleed, all right, after publishing your book and then they send it back to draft, telling you that it contains insufficient bleed. So I'm going to break everything you need to know about this so that you can just get it right once and for all. It won't make sense after publishing book and then it's you are expecting it to go live and eventually you got this email rather telling you that you need to fix one or two things in the file before they can allow your book to pass. It can be so disappointing at times, but Amazon is not to be blamed. If this is the email they send to you, then you're actually the one at fault. You are not getting some things right. Okay. So, and that is what exactly I want to break down for you in this video. After watching this video, I'm confident that you should never again have any issue with um anything pertaining to bleed or no bleed on Amazon. All right. So let's get started. Let's use this document as a case study. All right. So what does bleed means and what does no bleed means? The word bleed on Amazon means that if you have any images, or if you have images in your document that spreads across the edge of the page, okay, so then you have to choose bleed when uploading your book, and at the same time that document must be formatted with the bleed dimension. How do I mean? So let's take for example, now this is my manuscript. Okay, now if this is just your manuscript without image, you don't have any images in the manuscript, then you don't need to use bleed. But bleed is majorly concerned about you know using images in your book. So any image you have in your book and it's spread across the edges of the page, then that document should be formatted in bleed settings, irrespective of the trim size you are going with, be it 8.5 by 11 or 6 by 9 or 5.5 by 8.5 or 7 by 10, 8 by 10, irrespective of the trim size. Okay, so long your book contains images and the images does not stay within the confine of probably the text area, okay, and it's extended beyond. Now for this, in this case, now for this document, now we can say from where this day started, from this left hand side, all right, to this right hand side, any image that maintain this area like this, you won't have any issue. But the moment it extended, there's a calculated margin in between this text and this area, this margin, all right, that surrounds your book, top, down, left, and right. There's a particular area where the image must not exceed. If the image does not exceed that particular area, then you don't have issue. Okay, but the moment it exceeds the dimension or the allotted space after this contents, either to the right or to the left or to the top or to the bottom, then you have to format that particular document in bleed. Why do Amazon advise this is that by the time you add images to your book and then you did not do the proper thing to make sure you spread it across, by the time they are trimming your book, they will trim the book and then it will still be leaving whitish area, before the image, which will not actually give you a nice output by the time they print the book. So let me import an image so we can use that as an example. Okay, All right. So this is my image now. If this image only maintains this area like this, from the front of this text, just the block format and this side, then I won't have any issue. All right, I won't have any issue. But the moment I try to extend this image, you see that it's getting either like this or like this. Then I will need to make sure I format that book in bleed. All right. So also, if you have now made up your mind to format your book in bleed, then you must make sure that whenever you are spreading your image, it must cover. As you can see here, that you can't see any whitish space again. It has covered the whole place. All right. Let me make this in front of text. Okay, so I can adjust it well. So now the way this is now, if you zoom into this area very well, you see that I can still see some whitish area. Now it is fully covered. If you are submitting a document with this kind of image now, it has to be in bleed. All right. So if I do the same thing, maybe I stretch it to the top like this also. This has to be in bleed. All right, because it has covered, it has reached the edges of my book, both left, right, and the top. It doesn't matter if it does not go, all over to the top, so long it reaches either the left or the right of your document, and it has spread across the page. Then you have to make sure that document is in bleed settings. Okay, so now if it's not going to be in bleed and you did not define it well, probably you made it like this. You made it like this. Now, this little space in between this area and the edges of your document is not enough for Amazon to consider this document as a no bleed document. They will count it as bleed, whereas they will not allow your document to go, because area, this white area is not going to give a proper um, output by the time they print it. When they trim off the bleed dimension, chances are that it's still going to leave some whitish area before the image itself, which of course they won't like. So going with this, they may send your document back to you that the images in your book, has insufficient bleed. Okay, so now you don't want to make it like this. Is that it is no bleed at all? By bringing it, you can see my margin. You can see my margin. So no bleed at all. Or if it is going to be bleed, then you have to spread it. You see that I stretched it out. Okay, properly. Now this can be considered as bleed. So now my document is in bleed. So what should be my dimension? What should be the trim size? This document is 8.5 by 11, but I won't use 8.5 by 11 since I have images that are spread across the edges of my book. I have to change it and add the bleed dimension to it. What is the bleed dimension? Amazon said to your width and height, you add some inches to them. So 8.5 by 11 is my document. All right. So now they said um to your width, you had 0.125. Okay, and to your height, which is the 11, you had plus 0.25. So whichever trim size you choose to go with, anytime you are going with bleed, all these settings must be applied. So with added to 8.25, now I have to add 0.125 to it, which will give me 8.625. All right, added to 11, I have to add 0.25, which will give me 11.5. So let's pull up my calculator here. Okay, 8.5 plus 0.125. You see, it gives me 8.625. That means for my height, for my width, which is the breadth of my document, is going to be 8.625. And for my height, 11 points plus 0.25. So which is that would be 11.25. So this same rules applies to every other trim sizes also. If I'm going with 6 by 9, 6 by 9 will be, to my 6 I'm going to add 0.125 plus 0.125. All right, that will give me 6.125. And to 9 I will add 0 I will add sorry I will add 0.25, and that will be 9 plus 0.25. All right, that will give me 9.25. So the same thing applies to every other trim sizes you can find on Amazon. All right, so now we know that our trim size is going to be 8.625 by 11.25. Not this. If we don't have image, or the image does not spread across these edges like this, then we can just leave it as 8.5 by 11. So I'll go to my layout, to my size. You can see this is 8.5 by 11. I come to more paper size. All right, so under my paper size here, you can see that it is 8.5 by 11. So I will change that to 8.625 by 11.25. All right, so, and then I will hit OK. So my document has been resized to bleed. So if I should submit this document to Amazon, and they are not going to penalize me for it, so they know that this is already set to bleed. All right, I hope you get the um information now. So this is for MS Word. The same thing applies to if you are using Google Docs online. This is the same method. It applies to every other software you're using. All right, so let me walk you through if you are using Canva for your interior design as well. So this is my Canva. I'll click on custom, create design, custom size, and then 8.625. Don't forget, sorry, this has to be in inches. My unit has to be in inches. So 8.625 by 11.25. All right, so I'll click on create design. So my document is in bleed now. All right, so anything I'm doing, let me import any image. Okay, so long I have images like this spreading across my document like this document is bleed. Okay, so if I'm doing no bleed at all, then it has to be within the margin of this Canva page. All right, like this, now we can consider this to be no bleed. But I advised for my students, and also in my book design, interior design course, I advise that anytime you are using Canva for interior design, just go with bleed. So chances are that initially when you start your design, you may not have it in mind to may not have it in mind to stretch out any image across your page. But as you are going, creativity may demand that you stretch out any image or any element across the page. So it's just better that when you are starting out, when you are starting your design, just start using bleed from the beginning to the end. Okay, so this is a bleed settings now. All right, so when you are now, take for instance, now I'm done with my design and then I want to upload my book. What should you choose when you are designing, when you are uploading your book? This document now, as we all agree, that is in bleed. So by the time you get to Amazon to upload your book must be in the original trim size. All right, how do I mean? The fact that you used, if you check here now, you see that we used 8.625 by 11.25, which we've added the inches to it, inches of the bleed they are going to trim off to it. Now, when you're uploading your book, you have to choose the original trim size, which is 8.5. by 11. If your document was 6 by 9, which if you are formatting it in bit is going to be 6.125 by 9.25. When you get to Amazon to upload your book, you will choose 6 by 9. So after that, they are going to ask you that is it bleed or no bleed. So that is when you have to check that bleed box. You check that it is bleed because you added the bleed inches to it. All right. So let me show you a practical example on Amazon interface itself. So this is a document. I've already uploaded this, so I just want to show you an example. So the document was formatted using 5.5 by 8.5, but the document that was uploaded was actually in bleed. All right, that means I'm going to add 0.125 8 by to 5.5 and then 0.25 to 8.5. So the corresponding results of the addition was what I actually used for the document. So, but when I got here, it's going to ask you to select a size, your trim size here, and here you can. I think me have not published this now. I can see where to choose other trim sizes or where I can add a custom size. So many people do make that mistake that after uploading, they will now go to custom size and put the same dimension which they've already added the bleed settings to. All right, let's assume this is actually 8.5 by 11. Not that you now go to custom size and go and put 8.625 by 11.25. No, it's not going to work like that. You will choose 8.5 by 11. All right, so by the time you now get to these bleed settings, they will ask you, is this bleed or no bleed? All right, that is when you will now check this and make it and tick it that it is bleed. You see that they wrote for PDF only, because that means you must have this only apply to paperback or your hardcover. All right, you must have exported them in PDF. I hope this is clear now. So with this explanation, you should not have any issue with KDP again. Let me give you a quick recap of everything I've said. Irrespective of the dimension you are going with, of the trim size you are going with, anytime you are formatting using Canva or MS Word, and you are going to input images that's going to spread across your interior like this, make sure that document is formatted in bleed settings. And when I mean bleed settings, that means you have to add the extra inches 0.125 to your width and 0.25. You can write this down in your journal to make sure that you don't forget. You will add this to any trim size you are going with. So say your document is 8.5 by 11. All right, so if it's going to be in bleed, that means you add all this as they are like this to this and this to this. All right, if it is 6 by 9, the same loss applies. 6 and 9. All right, irrespective of the trim size you actually going with, you have to add this so long your book is going to be in bleed settings. And as I advised my students and in my interior course, if you are using Canva for your interior design, just go with bleed. Anytime you want to design, go with bleed settings. All right, so you are not expected to be using the natural trim size without adding this. So once you get to design create design on Canva, just make sure you are adding the trim size plus this, and then you input the corresponding result to create your document. Just like we have here, this is actually 8.5 by 11, but we've added the bleed settings to it. That's why we have 8.625 by 11.25 as our dimension here at the top. All right, so and by the time you are done formatting your book, just make sure that every image as needed. Okay, not that you will be formatting and one will be like this. If you should leave any like this, Amazon will reject your book. All right, or you are trying to do something like this, okay, and you see this place, and this place is not well covered, they will reject the book. All right. So if you are doing anything like that at all, it should be well covered on both ends. Do you understand? Something like this now, they are not going to reject it. But after trimming off the bleed settings and they are now seeing white spaces, something like this, they will trim off the additional settings of 0.125 and 0.25 in your book. So by the time they trim it off, they expect to have a very clean edges throughout the book. Wherever there are images that are spread across, they expect to have a very clean edges without any traces of white line. Okay, so that's how you should always format your book um if you are going with trim if you are going with bleed settings rather. Okay, so in the next video I'm going to upload another content review issue that most people have, which is the issue of gutter. So and subsequently I will get to upload more. I've heard a lot of issues concerning content reviews that people are having. So I will make more videos on that and upload subsequently. I hope this video has helped you. So if you are new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe so that you can get updated when next I upload new informative video like this. Share this video with your friends and subscribe, like, and if you have any question, you can drop it down in the comment. If you're interested in joining my book interior mentorship class, just check the link in the description below. You can use any of the link to reach out to me, or you just go directly to the sales page of the course and get on board so that you can learn how to do nice and beautiful interior design that is going to sell your book much more better than using the regular MS Word manuscript. I hope this video has blessed you, and till I come your way again, I remain my humble self, the Gracified. See you some other time. Bye.